All right, everyone, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. We are here to celebrate our Spring Sports Awards. This includes all three of our varsity spring sports, which is girls soccer, co-ed, track and field, and boys lacrosse. We're going to go ahead and get right started. We had a little bit of delay, so we try to get the stream going. So we're going to jump right in, and then we'll end with a closing statement. But we'll start with varsity girls soccer. So I'm going to ask Coach Andy Bozak to come up here. Thanks, Coach.
Can everybody hear me all right like this?
Yeah.
We're going to have these one. Yeah. Now I'm going to come here. So, this season was remarkable. Yesterday really sums up our season from the standpoint that beginning of the even practice, we said to the girls that one of the goals was to qualify for the state playoffs, which is sometimes a lofty goal when you have a coach that's coming into a program that they had another coach before, and all the players want to buy in, but maybe not right away. They're used to get a coach. And long story short, as the season went on, some girls had already bought in, others took a little bit of their time, but eventually they all bought in. And we changed the playing philosophy. We changed systems several times on purpose. You have to play with the strengths that you have. And so yesterday, although we lost in PKs, it was a great game. It was a wonderful game, and honestly, it's the start of things to come. The seniors have left a wonderful legacy. We're going to miss them, and the returning players have a lot to build on top of and really establish the culture that we're not just going to qualify for state and put up a really good fight, but we're going to start playing to get to that Final Four, and most importantly, it's the glorify God. That's the biggest reason, and we asked the girls to do that yesterday. Use their playing a glorified world and make it. And so it's been a wonderful season. Girls, thank you so much. Seniors, I'm going to miss you. On to the awards. Really quick, thanks to the athletic staff, first and foremost, John. Thank you to Kyle, and of course, administration here. I'm grateful to be here, not just for today, but in general. Coach Deneen, Coach Young as well. So our first award is the most improved player, and that goes to Riel Walker. Keeping it really, really short, which for the girls, they know that's tough for me. So imagine being in one of my classes, 2.5 hours is long. Riel, it's not just about improving practice, and we had many players that did that. It's how the improvement was in games. Started the season as a player that was right on the fringe of being a starter right away as a 9th grader. But not just that, it was then stealing the starting spot. She played 6 different spots, and every position often was new to her. She was learning as she went, and as the season went on, she looked more and more like a veteran, more and more like a 12th grader, always happy, but competing hard. And even yesterday, first state playoff game of her soccer career, and it looked like she was doing it from day one. So many candidates for this award, yes, but in the end, she can just show improvement in practice. It wasn't in the games, and she was playing against great competition. So, thank you. The next award is the Griffith Award, and that goes to Isabel Zealand. Honestly, her crutching up here pretty much says enough. Isabel and the whole Zealand family really bought into our style of training right away. And it wasn't just from, hey, we'll work hard in practice. It was the fact that she worked hard in practice, worked hard before practice, worked hard after practice, stayed several times after practice to actually work with my son and I on various different things. We were trying to get them to learn how to get space, different dribbles to create opportunities. She started in one position in the year, and I knew I wanted to put her up top as a striker because she's a natural scorer. We called her the queen of the pounce on purpose, and just the ordinance of how she competed. She's a fierce competitor, does it for her teammates, but again, most importantly, does it for the Lord. And every time I asked the girls, play for the Lord, I knew I could look over at Izzy and it registered right away. And so she led by example. Yeah, she's feisty in a good way. Yeah, she may or may not have got a yellow card. It was a bogus call, but she fought for the team. And in the last several weeks played on a bum ankle, but there's no way that she would have not allowed me to play her. We didn't force her. She would have got out there on a hospital gurney. So, Isabel, thank you. The last award for the girls varsity team this season is the MVP award, and that goes to Phoebe Pillen. Again, with all of these awards, it's tough when you're giving out awards. It's like being a parent and trying to pick your favorite kid. It is a tough job to do because our girls, and they know that we love them like daughters. Of course, Coach Dean has a daughter on the team. And so it's tough. And there was candidates for all of them. MVP, the way we looked at this was, how would the team be if this athlete wasn't on the team? What impact would it have? And Phoebe's the type that she's not just most valuable to the team, she's most valuable to, at times, I thought, the entire school. I mean, she's at every event. She just loves on people, but she does that while being a remarkable student. But the worry in her, how she competed. Sometimes she was vocal, sometimes she was silent, but she always played every ball like it was her last ball, in practice and in games. And with Phoebe this season, being a senior, I asked her to play a position that she wasn't accustomed to. And it was going to be a big sacrifice because she'd have to give up her own glory for more goals. And boy, oh boy, she'd often look over in the beginning and think that she didn't know what she was doing. And it's like, no, you looked definitely like you knew what you were doing. She's a Division I talent. I'm trying to talk her into trying out for the Cavaliers, and hopefully she will, but even if she doesn't, she's not just MVP as the most valuable player. She's the type of person that she's one of the most valuable people you'll meet. And all of us are better for knowing her, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to thank Coach Bosak as well. Mr. Alexander and I hired him to coach our middle school boys soccer team in the fall, and he did such a great job. And then, as teams would have it, we were losing our varsity girls soccer coach just a few months later. And so everything aligned for us to bring Andy in to coach our girls, and he's just done a fantastic job. So thank you, Coach Bosak. Thank you, Mr. Deneen, as well, for your faithful help towards him and the team all season. You put in just as many hours as he does, so thank you both for that. We are going to move on to our track and field team and welcome up Coach Meter.
All right, so for track and field this year, we had an awesome season as well. And our theme, we tried to focus on the word seek for the season, and both in seeking the Lord in all the things we do, but also seeking after first having big goals for the season and then seeking after those. So the team really did come to practice every day ready to do that, to work hard, and then also even at the meets, they were really motivated to seek after their personal goals and then working as a team to do well at meets. So that's even with the unknowns of the season. We weren't even sure if we were going to be able to run meets this year, and they still came to multiple weeks of practice before we knew that we would even be able to run in a meet. So that just showed me early on that we had some athletes that were committed to the team. And then little did we know, the Lord blessed us with lots of opportunities, more than we even took to compete. And so it was just encouraging and motivating to watch these athletes put in work at practice and then go to the meet, improve. I mean, every week we had personal records that people were getting, and then they'd come right back to practice on Monday, ready to work harder. And with track, you are kind of consistently working to qualify for states, and you have to have a certain time for each event that you run to do that. And so they were very motivated by those times as well. A few highlights: our girls team were runner-ups at the conference championships. And then both the guys and the girls have beat many personal records, including Thad setting a school record in the 400 and also attending states this Friday to compete in the 2 and the 400. He also even qualified for the 100 as well for states. And then Owen Helm setting the school record in discus and shot put. The girls 4x8 team, which was Madeleine, Anna, Virginia, and Elizabeth Matney, setting a school record of 12 minutes and 9 seconds for the 4x8. And then Ethan Edwards and JL Brenning meeting personal records every week as they ran the 1 and 2 mile. And then also Bree Olson, who just impressed us event after event as she set new school records in the 100 and 200, and then is also competing Friday in 5 different events. So she's going to be running 100, the 200, the long jump, shot put, and disc. So we're really proud of her, and she was super close to being the athlete of the year for the Blue Ridge Conference by 1 point, which was very hard to hear, but she's our athlete of the season for sure. So we had a great season, and I'm just thankful for each of y'all putting in so much work and just creating such a fun environment while we did that. All right, so we'll start with the awards. First one, most improved, is Ethan Edwards. Ethan came to practice each day and worked hard to get in good distance running shape, which isn't easy and you can't do that quickly. With each meet that he ran, he averaged a 10-second decrease in his 1 mile time and a few seconds at each meet at his 2 mile. And then he just crushed his PR in the 1 and the 2 mile. But at the 2 mile, he had a 1 minute PR at conference. So really encouraging, and just shows how hard he worked throughout the season. And so we're just thankful for your hard work, Ethan, and your fun that you bring to the team. And we're excited to see how hard you work this summer and how you'll bring that, right, Coach Deneen, to cross country in the fall. All right, next one, the Griffin Award goes to Madeleine Duncan. Okay, so Madeleine is very deserving of this award. Her work ethic is something that has stuck out to me the past few years from different sports that she's been a part of, even just coming into the weight room, asking for workouts, or if no one shows up, she's like, well, I still want to work out. So that has stuck out to me in the past years, and it's been no different this year. I can always count on her to be at practice and to try her best, and then also to encourage others along the way. Madeleine, I think the way that you come to practice, like I'm gonna, just with confidence, I guess, of I'm gonna do my best, that encourages other people to do the same thing. So we're really thankful for you. And you've just been a great representative of our team and our school at the meets as well. So great job. Thank you for your meet. All right, and then we have two most valuable runners. First one is Thad Eaton. Okay. I'll say a little bit about Thad. He has had a unique season because he's been trying to balance and juggle the scuba diving training as well as be a part of the team. But he has consistently been able to come to practice and still work hard. And then the very few meets that he was able to come to, he was able to qualify for states. And so he does have a very unique sprinting gift that's just fun and a joy to watch. And so we've enjoyed getting to see him grow this year. And then second is Bree Olsen. Okay, so Bree has been a joy to have on our team as a person and as a competitor. She genuinely cares about those around her, and she's very humble in her success and has an awesome work ethic. She has been just similar to that. She's been uniquely gifted, but that doesn't stop her from, or she doesn't lean on that in practice. She works just as hard as anyone else. And probably harder, and that's just encouraging. That should be encouraging for each of you that even when we have a talent, we still need to work hard. And Bree, you've done that. I've seen that all season. Bree has finished first this year in many different events, and then also beat her personal record multiple times for the 1 and 200. And we're just so proud of you and excited to see, excited that you have a whole another year, and just excited to see where the Lord leads you, whether that's maybe running in college or whatever it may be, but we're thankful. And then she's also, like I said, running in 5 events on Friday, so you will hear how she does then, but make sure you encourage her before we leave Friday. Good job.
Of course, now I want to thank Ms. Nieder. She does have 2 assistant coaches, Ms. Sarah Burton and Trey Gerald. Neither one could be with us today. Ms. Nieder has not been a track coach in the past. I think she'd be the first to tell you that. And I didn't really ask her going into the season if she would do it as much as I told her that I needed her to. And without any experience, she took that up without complaining, and did just an absolute fantastic job. And so we're very grateful for that. She has a very different job than most of our coaches. She has now given up 4 of her Saturdays where we're all at home. She has to go do that with our athletes. And so she's worked very hard, very diligently, and she's done a great job. So thank you for that. Before we move on to our last sport, which is Coach Alexander lacrosse, I need to backtrack a second. This is what happens when I don't make notes for myself. The first thing is that while it was not an official sport here at New Covenant, we did have 1 student athlete who competed in golf for us, representing our school.
He's at gold.
So for those of you who don't know, Luke last week went up to Roanoke Catholic or Roanoke Country Club for the VIC conference tournament, and he won that. And therefore, he qualified for the state tournament, which was this past Monday, and he came in second place in the state. So, the last backtrack is that although I do not have their awards in hand yet, they've not been mailed or delivered, our soccer team did have 2 first-team all-conference selectees. And those are Izzy and Ava Zealand. So we can. All right, goes out to him.
Okay, I do have notes to keep me focused. Did anybody bring me a Joe Beans? Because I really feel like I need a Joe Beans right now. No. Thank you very much. I do want to start off with some thanks to the parents, our families, you students that came to our games, certainly Mr. Maynard for all the work he does, that we just kind of take for granted. Our athletic seasons happen, whether it's track and field, soccer, lacrosse. Coaches, Coach Sproul is here today. Let's give Coach a big hand. Coach White, Coach Reynolds, Josh Ivins coached as well, and Mr. McCormick, who drove the bus for us many trips. And I appreciate all those folks and all their help. We're going to just take one quick moment. I hate to ad-lib. Does Mr. Maynard know I do this? Can I have Riel Walker and Madeleine Rogers stand up? You two, would you stand up? Jaden, please stand up. Jaden and Natalie, give them a big hand. They had a signing ceremony last week that Mr. Maynard put on in here, and they're going to be competing at their various colleges, Hampton Sydney and the University of Lynchburg, in swimming and basketball. And what you don't know about folks like Natalie and Jaden, and I hate to take lacrosse, I'm going to give you your good due, all the hours they put in, early mornings, late nights, tournaments, or meets where Natalie's gone all weekend and her parents are making this happen. There's a lot of work that goes into them becoming great athletes or perfecting their sport. And I just wanted to recognize you too and wish you the best next year as you move on to college. For Lacrosse 2021, we had 4 seniors. Caleb Oppenheimer, who's played with all the guys up on that board, and Dalton Foster's going to get his name on that board. But Caleb has been playing attack here forever, and he's just been a great teammate. And then Titus Brendan Hostetler, and Chris Matney. I ended up putting them on one line together. Just I had them all mixed up, playing different lines, and this guy's more of an offensive midi, this guy's more of a defensive midi. And I put those 3 seniors together on one line, and our season really took off when that happened. They just gave us toughness and grit and a competitive spirit that really made a difference in our games. Our overall record was 6-5, and we ended up number 2 in the VIC, which is the first ever for our school. Go ahead. Sure. And what's notable, though we didn't win any of these 3 games at home, we hosted North Cross, who won the VIC. They're probably going to win the state championship. They're good. 6 of their seniors are going to be playing college lacrosse next year. We hosted North Cross here in the game. We hosted EC Glass. We've never played EC Glass in varsity boys sports of any level, of any kind, or varsity level. So we had EC Glass here for a game on a Friday night, for our senior night, and Blue Ridge came in for the VIC playoffs. And they're coached by a former UVA Hall of Fame coach, and he's got a bunch of guys going on to college. So we had some great competition coming into our home field this year, which I thought just made us a better program and just puts us on the map as far as a team to reckon with. Two of our guys made all conference. Jack Murata. Jack had 75% save percentage. I hope you were here, Jack. However, Jack would he'd say thank you for the award or whatever, but he would recognize the Nates, and Will, and Waylon, and Jude, and Nash, who play close defense and long LSM defense, that if they don't do their job, it makes his job impossible. They have to do what we ask of them to put the shots out a little further, make it a more difficult shot, change the angle on the shot. But Jack had an incredible year as a goalie. It's the first ever we've had an all VIC in lacrosse. And then Dalton Foster also made first team lacrosse. And Dalton would tell you that the middies have to clear the ball, someone has to win the face-off, they have to get the ball down in the box. He's an attackman, so there's so many guys doing other things before Dalton ever gets the ball in his stick, and he would be the first to say thanks to all those teammates. Our theme this year was chop wood, carry water. I'm not going to go over, I promise. I'm not going over. Our theme this year, I'm on my second page here. Our theme is chop wood, carry water this year. It's really about just doing the little things, doing the simple things, and being focused in those things. And I'll give you some great examples. Like the ground ball is the most difficult skill in lacrosse, but it's simple. It's just picking up the ball at the ground. Brandon Hostetter is the best at that. He perfects picking up ground balls. It's the littlest thing, but him picking up ground balls throughout the year is a way within the game that is a chop wood, carry water theme. Being a great teammate, Caleb Oppenheimer, is always playing second fiddle to these other captains, whether it's Calvin Hurt, Jewett Reynolds, or Dalton Foster. And then I would say Chris and Titus, the seniors, their faith, their grit, the way they go out and compete, their leadership. They did a lot of little things for us. It's just hard to see if you're standing on the sidelines. That makes a difference. It makes a difference in practice, in the locker room, on the bus. And what a great group of guys to coach. I would be at away games with these guys and think, I can't believe they're paying me to travel with these guys, go out of town, because they're just phenomenal. They're so well behaved, gentlemen, good sportsmen, and just an awesome group of young men. Some of my highlights for the year, just thinking of what really stood out. One was Chris Matney running to the goal at Fishburne with a stick up, wanting a pass. And Dalton had the ball on the end line. So there's a goal and a goalie, and then there's Chris Matney. So I don't know how Chris thinks that all this here, Dalton can throw him the ball, but Dalton decides he's going to throw him the ball, arcs it over top of everything, right into Chris's stick for a score. I've never seen that before. So good job there, Chris. And I thought, that's awesome. Dalton took a risk on throwing a pass that no one throws. Chris, you got to give him an angle. And Chris catches and scores. Titus, you see glass way, I don't know why the benches were about to clear, but Titus, you did something there that gets that kid's attention. But Titus is so competitive, and he's just a tough guy. But just playing against class and seeing our seniors especially step up and want to compete at that level. Ja winning a face-off or two at Roman Catholic, and he's scoring. The face-off is how you start after a score, and he wins the face-off and just goes straight to the goal and scores, which doesn't happen very often. Usually it gets stopped. But my biggest, or most, memorable highlight of the year is we're playing at Roanoke Catholic, and you work on these things, but when do they happen? And at one point during the game, I'm watching, and it's just beautiful. There's flow, the ball's moving, players are moving. Everything's in sync. Everyone's smiling, and Roanoke Catholic's giving us a good game. They're battling us, but we're playing beautiful lacrosse. There's great flow, and that, to me, if nothing else happened, we had to get on the bus, the lightning happened, that would have been enough for that day to see that take place. So, lacrosse guys, thank you. It's been great. We've got a lot to look forward to. We'll miss those four seniors for sure. But now it's time for our awards, and I'll start with our most improved. And that is going to go to Chris Matney. Now, you wonder, come on over here, Chris. You wonder how a guy like Chris Matney can be most improved, because we had big plans. Oh, come on, stay up here. Get over here. You wonder how a guy like this, that we had high hopes for as a defender, maybe a defensive middie, a tough guy, competitor, gets the most improved. And here's why, because Chris is a can-do kind of guy. So who wants to face off? Chris puts his hand, I'll be a face-off guy. Well, he doesn't have the body type for a face-off. He's a little too tall, too long-legged. But I'll do it. So okay, well, let's do it. Then I got Chris in my mind. He's a defensive mid. The next thing you know, Chris keeps getting better with his offensive skills, his passing, catching, even shooting. He scores here. 5 goals. So Chris becomes our best face-off guy, and he gets on our #1 offensive midi line. And so don't ever let a coach or anybody tell you what you can and can't do, because Chris, it would have been for me, you've been a defensive midi this year, and you end up being our best face-off guy, scoring 5 goals in that first mid-line, and a great leader. Our most improved, Chris Madeleine. Just to keep Mr. Mater on his toes, I'm going to change this up and do our MVP. Most valuable is going to go to Dalton Foster. Well, let's see. What can we say about this guy? He scored 31 goals, 10 assists for us. So definitely our leading scorer and offensive guy. And what's great about Dalton is that in games where we knew we were going to win, we had the lead, Dalton stopped trying to score. He would come off and we'd talk and say, I'm trying to get so-and-so the ball, I'm trying to get so-and-so a goal. And he would work like crazy to get other teammates the ball in those games we didn't need to score. And then sometimes, like this last game we played Blue Ridge, I think we only scored 1 goal. Dalton just decided, I'm going to go ahead and score before this game's over. And he got beat up a little bit with some sticks this year and took some hits, but a really good offensive guy. He's got a great knack for the game, a high IQ, and just really did offense work. When things broke down, we could rely on him. So, Dalton, thank you and congratulations. Yeah, finally, no, we're good at time. We're good at time. Mr. McCurley, we got to do something about this. Mr. Alexander likes to talk. Okay, let's last but not least, our Griffin Award is going to go to Jack Murata.
Yeah, Jack!
This is a tough one because there were so many guys that you could consider for this award on our team, just up and down the roster for sure. And Jack, he's fun, we'll give him that. Plays that great music on the sidelines, that's his music, and hopefully they like that. It's his music you're hearing. And he's just a great teammate. He's considerate, thoughtful, and looks out for others. For me, Jack was like an assistant coach. I would often communicate through Jack to get the message out. I would give him information, details, and he made sure it got out to all the players. And so whether it was a change of practice time or, travel situation, practice situation, what we're wearing for the game that day, so many things I leaned on Jack this year, and he just always came through. So beyond that fun, great friend guy, Jack has this sense of just being committed to our program and team, and he, playing goalie, can be a very lonely sport. We had a couple games where we got pounded by really good teams. They're possessing the ball and they're hitting it with a lot of shots. Never gets down, never complains, never has to come out of the game. I think he got hurt once in this one game, right? Hurt his shoulder. He hurt his shoulder because he came out of the goal and hit somebody. We had a good backup, but those are tough games for goalies when we can't stop the other team from getting all those shots, and that goalie hangs in there, and just never gives up, and always has a great attitude. So Jack, you're very deserving of the Griffin Award. Congratulations.
Brandon Massa, come down here. I realized that two mistakes were made here today. One was letting Coach Alexander go last. The other one was him thinking that you were done after he got done talking. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Brandon for a little presentation.
All right, so 4 years ago, if you had asked me if I was going to have any lacrosse bars on my NCS letter, I would have told you no. I did not enjoy my middle school lacrosse years. In fact, I hated them. A combination of coaches who didn't seem interested in coaching and me simply being clueless of what I was supposed to do meant that by the end of my 8th grade season, I was ready to hang up the stick. Why did I keep playing then? Well, as the 9th grade season came around, my mom told me Coach Alexander was going to be coaching the varsity. I, of course, knew Coach. I had him for most of middle school intramurals. He was super fun. I also remember him coaching a few of our games in 6th grade when our actual coaches ditched us. Those few games were the only bright spot in my middle school lacrosse. Fine, I said. I'll give it one last shot. There certainly wasn't much going for me. At the time, I was pretty short for my age, one of two freshmen, and here I was playing with a bunch of kids, 2 or 3 heads taller than me. And after 2 games, I break my arm and I'm out for the rest of the season. That was the best season I'd ever had. I don't know exactly what it was, though Coach Alexander certainly was a large part of it, but I found myself really loving the sport after that, and couldn't wait for every season after that. Coach, you've done so much for so many students and athletes at this school. Not only have you managed to channel all of our energy when you were at all at the most uncontrollable middle school age, but you managed to teach us some of life's most important lessons as well. We all love your quick stories, and part of the reason for that is we know that these are lessons and experience. There are lessons and experiences behind these stories, and those are lessons that all of us will remember for years to come. Phrases such as packing our parachutes, as well as chopping wood and carry water, have been ingrained in our minds. And for that, I'd like to say thank you. We have all loved you as a coach, and we'll miss you dearly. And so, Titus, come here. We actually did get you a trophy. So.
Come on, Coach.
Thank you, Brandon, for reading that. I say my thanks for Coach Alexander for last. This job is, for those of you who don't know, Coach Alexander is not going to be coaching our lacrosse team next year unless I can convince him to later. But so this job can be a very lonely job, meaning that you come in every day. No one has any idea what you're doing, and there's no one to talk to about it because you're the only one doing what you're doing. And normally that's the way that it is for every athletic director at every school. But I've had the unique privilege of having someone else that I can complain to, talk to, ask questions to, and that has been the biggest positive for me this year in a very tough year. And as Brandon said, most of the answers come in the form of a story. And I am not a story person. I don't really like to talk to people that much, which is great that I get to do this job and really be in a building by myself all day. So I would go to Coach Alexander and I would say, hey, Coach, yes or no? Do I need to do this or that? And I'm expecting a yes or no. And then I can go back, and be by myself. But I would never get a yes or no. I would get a story. And then I would be left to decipher whether that was indeed a yes or no. But all that to say that it has been my greatest pleasure to work with Coach Alexander this year. He has meant so much to me, and I just want to say a big thank you to him. So let's give him one last round. After all that, it is 1:27 and we're still done in time. So you guys are dismissed. Thank you for coming.